Welcome back, folks. Today is October 24th, 2025. We're up $37 on a Friday, and who cares about inflation, right? Like Marie Antoinette said, or did she? Let the poor people pay for our stock market winnings. And speaking of winnings and losings, remember, do not trade in the stock market or any or use any of your cash that you can't afford to lose by investing it and putting it at risk without financial professional advice. Trading is very risky. If you don't believe me, just look back to some of my prior videos. I've got some doozy losers and some trades early in the year that I didn't record, but you can look at my recaps for the year 2025. Pretty bad. So our P&L for today, we started out earning $11, which was a good trade. Then we fell down. We didn't follow protocol, and we're down $64. I thought for sure the week is a bust, but we got lucky, made 102 on the last trade, and recovered. For the month, we're knocked our drawdown down to $66. We're down to about under $20 in the past 3 months, August, September, and October. That's our drawdown, 17 bucks, I think. So that's pretty good. The efficiency up at the top really is irrelevant. Whether you hit 66% or not doesn't matter. So we still got a week to try to turn the month green. We took 3 trades on TOVX. You can see there are large sizes for all 3 of them. And yeah, we were looking for to make a good Friday, but failed on that second trade. You can see here what I'm looking at. And this is done, I think, closer to when after the trades are done. But on the daily, I've circled the 2 clumps there that I'm looking at, and that's how I draw my lines on the 5, 15, and 1 minute. You can see clearly the pullbacks on the 5 minute and the 15 minute. And what we're looking at there, the price was at 68 cents, and we're wondering how much space there is up to the top. It looks like it has room to go up to $1. But of course, that will not happen. And here's my analysis for that. So at this point, current price is 66 cents, and the room up to $1, difference is 34 cents divided by 2 means 17 cents. So 66 plus 17, which is 83, which I think it did hit. But our entry had been at 60 cents for this last trade, and our exit was a very timid 66 cents. So we left a couple $100 on the table because it went up to 83, but you can never be sure that that's going to happen. So we were happy to have recovered from a red to green and took our exit. Here you can see where the trades were, and you can analyze the chart there. The 3 green arrows, 1, 2, 3 are our trades. Down at the bottom, you've got 2 arrows, red, which showed the exits. And the first trade was cool. It was all in one bar, and we exited well. The second trade was poorly timed, jumping in when the stock was going down, and then we exited out, perhaps a little bit too soon, but you know, we couldn't have been sure. And what were these doing? You can see some very thin lines there that draw where the trades were entered. And between that period there, that's what we were looking for. We were looking for that bar there in the cyan. That's where we would have been our entry, and we would have exited in the pink. There, the pattern broke, but we got lucky in that I think this was a pump and dump, and it backfired. And once all the scanners had a hold of it, it turned into a squeeze, and that's how it jumped up. So we were late today, woke up late, not an early morning person, so it does take a havoc on me getting up at 4 a.m. Pacific every time. Um, like and subscribe if you like our video or analysis. It does help the channel out, and it'll help other folks, newbies, who are wanting to trade by visualizing what can happen, the good and the bad, and obviously learn some of my tricks. This is my experience, and I only share it uh, to make sure that folks see what it's like. So here we enter into a trade, 710, because we looked like it was moving up. First candle to make a new high. Yeah, proved true. And it's moving up. And we're up a few bucks. And again, we're being very timid. We're not expecting to make a whole lot of money. So, but we see that there's an opportunity here for that bar to go a little higher. We didn't exit on the same bar. Okay, so we exited on the second one, perhaps. And at the same time, WGRX was making noise, but very little noise. So we decided to exit and take our winnings there. It's now 7:11 Pacific time, and TOVX is now hit its high at 64 cents. So it was a good thing we exited, and it's coming back down. And our MACDs do confirm it. Yeah, I'm not a morning person. When I was younger, I had a second shift, which was great, 2 in the afternoon to 9 p.m. So we're switching back and forth to WGRX and TOVX because that one's also making noise, and one of the two is going to get picked up and be the eventual winner, where the other one will fall. So the swing shift is great because you got begin at 2 in the afternoon, get off at 9 p.m., and you got the whole morning to do whatever you need, and you still get a good night's rest. What I hated was the third shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That was awful, but didn't do it for a long time. For a period, I had to do some overtime on a second shift. So that was 6 at night till 6 in the morning, 7 days a week. Did that for 6 months. That can turn anybody into a schizophrenic really quick. But the rest of my life, I've been getting up at 4:30 a.m. For work, even though I'm not a morning person. And so the market is okay. But if I had my druthers, I would like the stock market to open at 2 in the afternoon so I could sleep until 11. That would make my life pleasant. Yeah, I work from home and I usually only work a few hours in the afternoon doing consulting. So I don't schedule anything in the morning. The morning is stock market and naps, power naps. So we continue to watch this. It's hanging around that uh, resistance line you see there at 64 cents. And we're getting encouraged. However, if you notice here, the MACD down below the zero, MACD is already turning red. And we should have waited on this trade. We should have never taken this next trade because uh, it was obvious that it was going to point down. But being the eager gorilla that I am, I said, let's gamble. And this second trade was really a gamble because we saw the chart, the candle bar moving up, and that gives you FOMO. You see that green bar and it tricks you. It's absolutely a trick. It's a it's a bull trap going up to 68 cents. And sometimes I've seen that hammer doji there, the red one, and the stock still goes up, but eventually it comes back down. And I had those same thoughts, and I thought, you know what? It seems to be staying strong above 60 cents. So if it falls, it's not going to fall too much. And you can see my indecision because I, up in the active trader window, I'm changing the quantities. I set it to 2,000. Now I've set it back to 10 shares. Excuse me. And yeah, there's a lot of indecision here. So we switch back to WGRX, and I use the watch list on the right hand side steadily because I can look and I can keep an eye on the stock as opposed to having charts on another monitor. I use the watch lists and I look at the mark price, and that's what leads me to. So here I thought, you know what, a little pullback, and then perhaps we can get in. Yeah. So by my comment earlier, yeah, uh, before the prior to the French Revolution, the poor people were starving in France, and Marie Antoinette obviously has that famous saying, "Let them eat cake," when asked about how they would handle the poor people. So we had the the inflation report today remain at 3%. So, folks, we believe there'll still be Fed rate cuts coming, but those may turn out to be bad as people will borrow, and if they don't manage their money, it'll be a problem. And I read that we just added $4 trillion to the federal deficit. So I'm sorry, I'm not a bearer of good news today. But the stock market took it well. They liked it. They see cuts coming. They see a golden age coming. I have to see it to believe it. So I'm saving my pennies and I'm stocking up on items that are priced today because they'll be higher by next year. So at this point, TOVX, I missed recording the $64 loss, and I'm sorry about that. But you can see there from 68 cents and from the reversal where the little R is all the way down. That's where I took that loss, 64. Boom, 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 down. And you can see now the MACDs are clearly pointing down. They pointed up, and in one of the other screenshots that I showed you, you can see the pattern now, right? The pink lines on the MACD are lower than prior, so the stock has made a lower low, and the gray bars are higher, which means the stock has made a higher high, divergence, and we can see that the that MACD cloud there is shaded green. At this point, having lost $64, I'm looking at WGRX. It looks a lot better, and except for the MACD, there looks like it's pointing downwards. Volume looks like it's up, and I'm thinking I'm going to jump in, but it's a good thing I didn't. WGRX, I think, sells off a little bit more. So there was a little bit of money to be made in WGRX, don't get me wrong. But at this point, I'm, Gorilla's having a bad day throwing peanuts at the wall because we're down $65 and we've wiped out our earnings for the week, everything that we managed to do. And here I'm thinking, well, at 143, if I can jump in, with 900 shares, what's my limit there? 800 shares. I would have to jump in with 800 shares for it to matter if this stock is going to move up. But I just did not see the strength in this stock. Meanwhile, TOVX still down to 59 cents, and I'm continue to watch it there. And so here I'm in revenge mode, trading, trying to reclaim, look for an answer. I know none of the other stocks have it, and the market's doing very well today. We had the SPY, Nvidia move up, even crypto's moving up. So I'm saying, what a shame that on a Friday I would lose. But enough about me. Too narcissistic. Um, and TOVX looks like it's falling down, looks like it's done. And what I mean by a pump and dump is I think that I don't believe this stock had any news. I didn't see any. And so people were pumping it up, and it moved up, and it earned folks some money. However, I think once it was obvious that scanners were picking it up, and the other stock, WGRX, wasn't going anywhere, that folks started to jump ship and climb onto the TOVX wagon. And I think that some folks thought, oh, there's a second opportunity to short here and trick the bulls. And I'm glad I didn't go in because you see what happens right here. 7:38 in the morning Pacific time, and I'm thinking there probably is no opportunities. So we go back to TOVX and we continue to watch it. So there's that first climb, pump, then the dump, then a small pump, and then the stock begins to consolidate, which was interesting. And then folks are selling and folks are buying. So bears and bulls trying to uh, get the best of this stock. It's 7:39, and I think this is where we decide to enter. And this is a what the hey dice roll. We're gonna jump in. You know what? What the hell? If we fall, we only fall to the floor, right? So, and then we begin to see this a little movement, and this is what I'm talking about in luck. And I think what happened here is that folks realize this stock may go somewhere, and the shorts are getting squeezed because they're having to cover, so they're buying it up. And look at that, starts moving up. So in the meantime, I'm busy trying to move the. I used my template at 68 cents up, 18 cents down, and obviously the 18 cents is way too low, and I'm trying to move them. And one of the difficult things on the active ladder is that if you don't have it set correctly, it's kind of hard to move it in between the numbers because it doesn't accept fractionals. So you have to choose whole numbers. So what I got to do here is I got to squeeze it because it's way too high. It's not going to hit $1.30. My prediction was $1, and then there you go. See, 83, around 83, 85 cents is what I'm thinking. That is possible. And this takes seconds, but it takes time. And if you're doing this, you see there it starts another pullback there. And now look at that. I'm down $20 and I'm down almost, at one point, I think it was almost down 92. So it's a good thing that I gave it 18 cents as a to play with, and even more than that, because I would have gotten stopped out at 60. And I think this is the rush. Bulls buying and shorts buying. And now I see an opportunity to recover most of what I've lost. And that's what I'm thinking here. That I'm going to probably exit. But I moved the sell button there to about 67 cents, which would be a $122 win, which would cover me. And here, this was a little uh, bad here. It looks like we're having a quadruple top there, but it starts to rise and I gain confidence. You'll see the result here in a second. And before that, I want to thank you guys. Hit the like button. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy what you do. Forget about the market. If today is any indication of what the market's going to be like next week, then we're probably going to have a great week. And it goes to what I told you. The market doesn't care. The market is tired of the indecision and of seeing things not go up. They want to see things go up and they want to pour their money into it. So hopefully good times are coming. And here now we feel we're close. And sure enough, look at that. Jumps up. Bunch of people selling. That scares me. And that's where I stop out. And have a good, great day.